Roughly 4,500 years ago, builders in Egypt completed a structure that remained the tallest building on Earth for 4 millennia. At 147 meters, the Great Pyramid of Giza continues to stand as a singular anchor of the ancient world. To understand the mass involved, this chart compares the pyramid to the modern world's tallest building. The Great Pyramid weighs 6 million tons. The Burj Khalifa, despite its height, weighs 500,000 tons. This mass was moved during a period with no heavy machinery, no bulldozers, and no cranes. In the 4th dynasty, builders had not yet adapted the wheel for heavy transport carts. Popular accounts often fill this technological gap with images of thousands of slaves forced to move stones under threat of violence. It is a persistent image that dates back to the Greek historian Herodotus, but the archaeological record contradicts it. The workforce consisted of 20,000 to 30,000 skilled Egyptian citizens. These laborers were well-fed and lived in nearby cities, with farmers rotating into construction crews when they weren't tending their fields. Excluding the myths of magic or forced labor leaves us a strictly mechanical challenge: how a Bronze Age society physically moved a mountain of stone. Construction began with the extraction of 5.5 million tons of limestone, along with 8,000 tons of granite, sourced from quarries hundreds of kilometers to the south. The tool set was limited to copper chisels, which were too soft to easily penetrate hard granite. To break the densest rock, workers relied on dolerite hammers, but carving blocks of this size entirely by hand was not a viable primary method. Instead, they utilized the physical properties of wood. Workers identified natural fissures in the rock face, hammering dry wooden wedges deep into the cracks. Once the wedges were secured, workers saturated the wood with water. As fibers absorbed moisture, the wood swelled, creating outward pressure to fracture solid granite. This allowed crews to split off stones weighing up to 80 tons. After extraction, the stones had to be moved. Without carts, teams dragged blocks weighing between 2 and 80 tons across the desert. A potential solution to the friction of the sand was discovered by modern physicists studying a 1900 BC tomb painting. The artwork depicts a worker pouring liquid directly onto the path of a heavy sledge. Adding 2 to 5% water to the sand changes its behavior. Moisture binds the particles, providing a smooth, stiff surface. Instead of piling up, wet sand allows teams to pull massive weights with significantly less resistance. To solve the vertical challenge of lifting these stones 147 meters, archaeologists in 2015 identified the remains of a 4,500-year-old ramp system in an ancient quarry. This system utilized gradual earthen slopes lined with wooden pillars. Workers wrapped ropes around these pillars to create a hoisting mechanism, preventing the heavy blocks from sliding back down as they were pulled upward. For the final placement of the highest stones, builders likely used a counterweighted lever known as a shadoof. While typically used for irrigation, as seen in this historical photo, the same mechanism allowed workers to lift and pivot stones into their final positions. While ramps, levers, and wet sand provide a mechanical explanation for how the stones moved, these methods collide with a difficult mathematical reality. Historical records indicate that the Great Pyramid was completed within roughly 20 years, utilizing a massive crew of 20,000. To meet that deadline, one massive stone had to be perfectly placed every 3 minutes, 10 hours a day, every day of the year. We have theories for the ramps and sledges, but we lack a definitive explanation for how the Egyptians sustained this pace across 2 decades. There are other anomalies. Scientists have identified the ingredients of the mortar used in the upper layers, which has allowed the pyramid to withstand earthquakes for millennia. However, modern labs have not been able to successfully recreate the substance. The precision extends to the layout. The pyramid's 4 sides align with true north, south, east, and west to within 1/15th of a degree, an accuracy achieved thousands of years before the invention of the compass. These verified gaps in our technical understanding of the 4th dynasty are often where the most speculative theories begin. Where the archaeological record is silent, alternative theories often emerge, ranging from claims of hidden electrical power plants to extraterrestrial architects. These theories often try to force patterns on the landscape. One popular claim suggests the 3 pyramids mirror the stars of Orion's belt, but astronomical testing in 1999 revealed that the alignment doesn't match the sky as it appeared 4,500 years ago. The scientific method relies on the steady accumulation of facts, which often requires us to acknowledge what we don't yet know, rather than adopting intellectual shortcuts. The Great Pyramid stands as a physical record of what was possible through simple physics and mass coordination. It remains a structure that challenges modern researchers to eventually match the precision of its original builders.